At 65, my wife Helen stared me down and said, "You're too old, Frank. You're worthless." Her words cut like a cold knife, but she forgot one thing. Clause 6 of our prenup. Cheaters lose half of everything. She thought I'd fade quietly. Instead, I reached for that contract and found my second wind. I'm Frank Morgan, and this is the revenge story of a man the world thought was finished. Tell me, what would you have done in my shoes? Before we dive deeper, let me take a moment to properly introduce myself. My name's Frank Morgan, and I'm 65 years old, comfortably retired down here in sunny Tampa, Florida. I dedicated most of my life to my work as a structural engineer, designing bridges and buildings that were meant to stand strong and endure the test of time. These days, retirement brings simpler joys, like tending to my backyard garden filled with tomatoes and cucumbers, or spending quiet mornings fishing down by the bay with a few lifelong friends. Maybe some of you enjoy these peaceful moments too. I'd love to hear about your favorite pastimes. My wife, Helen, is 58, still working as a senior manager for a major hotel chain. We shared 30 years together, raising two wonderful kids and building what I believed was an unbreakable bond. But life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it, doesn't it? On a chilly October afternoon, Helen came home with an unfamiliar coldness in her eyes. Without hesitation, she told me, "Frank, I don't love you anymore. You're too old, you're useless now, and I've found someone younger and more exciting." Can you imagine hearing those words? I stood frozen, heart racing like a runaway freight train. Facing age and daily aches is one thing, but facing betrayal from someone you deeply trusted, that's something entirely different. How about you? How have you been lately? Did you eat something good today? Let me know how you're doing in the comments. I genuinely care. And next, I'll share the shocking discovery that changed my entire life. Now, after Helen dropped that bombshell, I stood there trying to process everything she had just said. You know, after 30 years together, you think you know a person inside and out, but suddenly she felt like a complete stranger to me. Have you ever had a moment like that, where the person closest to you suddenly seems unfamiliar? At first, I tried to reason with myself, thinking it might just be a phase or maybe the stress from her demanding career. But deep down, a voice whispered that there was something more to this sudden change. Over the next few days, Helen grew colder, spending more evenings away from home, claiming urgent meetings or late dinners with important clients. She started dressing differently, wearing new perfume, even hitting the gym after years of avoiding it. Strange how these small details tell us so much, isn't it? Each passing day filled me with a sinking feeling, so I decided I couldn't ignore the signs any longer. I knew I needed to uncover what was truly going on. But before I dive into how I found the answers, let me pause a moment here and ask. Have you had a chance to rest today? How's your health holding up lately? Please let me know in the comments. Your well-being means a lot to me. Now, coming up next, I'll reveal the shocking evidence I discovered that finally showed me who Helen had become behind my back, and believe me, I was not prepared for what I saw. Determined to uncover the truth, I waited for a weekend when Helen announced she'd be away attending another of her so-called business conferences in Miami. As soon as her car pulled away, I found myself standing alone in the quiet of our house, feeling the weight of suspicion heavy in my chest. I stepped into Helen's home office, a room she always insisted on keeping private. Inside, everything seemed meticulously organized, almost too perfect. But I wasn't fooled. Something urged me to keep looking, and eventually I found an old tablet hidden in the bottom drawer of her desk. My hands shook as I powered it on, revealing Helen's secret online profile. What I saw turned my stomach upside down. Photos of Helen smiling brightly next to a younger man, his arm casually draped around her waist. Messages full of promises and secret plans to take control of our shared finances. Hotel bookings, lavish dinners, even plane tickets, all paid from our joint account. It was clear now. My gut feelings had been right all along. Have you ever felt a betrayal so deep it physically hurts? If you have, I'm truly sorry you've gone through that. Did you sleep well last night? How's your day going so far? Please take a moment to let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Your well-being genuinely matters to me. But friends, discovering Helen's betrayal was only the beginning, because buried deeper was something even more shocking. Something that gave me the upper hand she never expected. As I sat there staring numbly at the evidence of Helen's deception, a crucial memory flashed through my mind. A prenuptial agreement we'd signed 3 decades earlier. You see, back when we married, both Helen and I had promising careers, and our lawyers advised protecting ourselves in case things went south. At the time, it seemed like a mere formality. Never did I imagine I'd need to enforce it. I dug through old paperwork until I finally held the yellow document in my hands. My heart skipped a beat as I read Clause 6. In the event of infidelity, the betrayed spouse is entitled to half of all marital assets. Helen must have forgotten about this clause, or perhaps she believed I wouldn't dare enforce it. She underestimated me. I carefully gathered all the evidence: hotel bills, secret flight tickets, and intimate messages. With everything documented and neatly organized, I felt surprisingly calm, ready to confront the truth head-on. Soon after, I scheduled a meeting with Helen's lawyer. I'll never forget the look on his face as I laid out the damning proof piece by piece. Before I continue, let me ask, how are you feeling today, my friend? Have you had your meals yet? Remember, your health and peace of mind matter deeply. Please take a moment to let me know how you're doing down in the comments. Coming up next, you'll hear how Helen reacted when she realized I'd turned the tables, and believe me, her response was something I never anticipated. When Helen finally realized the weight of the evidence I had uncovered, she was stunned beyond words. Suddenly, the confident woman who had so casually shattered my world was standing before me, vulnerable and shaken. She tried to apologize, pleading that we reconsider the agreement, claiming she'd lose too much. It was difficult seeing someone I'd spent 3 decades with reduced to this state, but her words couldn't erase the pain she'd caused. I quietly told Helen, "You know, trust and respect can't be measured in dollars, but betrayal certainly has its price." Ultimately, the agreement stood firm. She had no choice but to honor the contract we'd signed. Helen had to sell the luxurious beachfront home she adored, moving instead into a modest apartment downtown. Her younger companion disappeared just as quickly, realizing she wasn't as financially secure as he'd assumed. As for me, with my rightful share of the assets, I purchased a peaceful lakeside cottage just outside Tampa, nestled among oak trees. Every morning, sipping coffee by the water's edge, I felt a deep sense of peace and renewal. Life truly has a way of rewarding us when we remain true to ourselves. Before we wrap up today, my friend, tell me, how are you doing these days? Have you had a chance to relax lately? Please let me know how your day's been going in the comments. Your well-being truly matters to me. And stay tuned, because what happened next in my life was the beginning of a whole new adventure I never saw coming.